You talked about a lot of messages coming from URA concerning tax returns filing and all that. This still comes to giving information to URA. The time you were registered, you were able to visit Uganda Revenue Authority offices, and we expect the same thing to happen when you are not doing any business. If you get any message from us and it is not very clear, you're supposed to visit the nearest office so that we can give you clarifications. But you did not disclose to us the content of the messages you've been getting from us. I am just assuming that you were getting notices of informing you to maybe file your tax returns and all that. But to do with a client who has not done any business in a given period, you should always either file a return that is nil, or you request for a deactivation of your TIN so that you don't get default assessments from us. And then concerning credit notes, I think Hafsa, you can take us through different types of credit notes. He wants to know which one is which. He talked about a credit note. I'm sure it is a credit note between a business person who has a TIN and a credit note to a final consumer. But as far as credit note to a business person is concerned, the buyer is supposed to approve it from the other side. And as a business partner, you should always be in touch with each other so that you notify the buyer that you have raised a credit note for a specific invoice so that they can be able to approve it. Then for the final consumers, it is auto approved. More clarification can be given by Hafsa. Yes, Hafsa, welcome.
Thank you. Good morning. My name is Hafsa Seguya from the Tax Literacy Unit. But the difference is I don't sit in Arua, I sit in Kampala. The mandate of the unit I sit in is to educate you, is to harness that relationship, to see that we can move together, to nurture you, create awareness, and educate you. That's the reason we are partly here to support our colleagues in Arua. Before we go into credit notes, maybe I would like to put some emphasis on the tax literature. We have a translators club in Uganda Revenue Authority, and our mandate is to ensure that we translate all the tax literature in the available local languages. It's unfortunate maybe we did not carry literature in Lukbar, but next time we'll be able to bring it with us so that we can cater for those who may not be comfortable in English. And maybe the town clerk still talked about literature, that he proposes we put the literature at the local government offices. Initially, what we've been doing is we have TREP literature, literature that concerns the 3 collaborating agencies. As Lillian said, URA, local government, and Uganda Administration Services Bureau. That is the same literature we have been supplying the one-stop shops. But however, we could add on that, as is request, the one for Uganda Revenue Authority, because we guess at the local government offices, it is a wider spread of this information that we can do moving forward. And maybe the quarterly engagements. That one we will work with the local office to see how best we can continuously engage you to see that we walk the talk together. The farmer asked that who is the taxpayer. I think it was an omission, we did not answer him. This is an individual, corporate body, an entity, a trust, a partnership that derives income. And income includes property income, business income, employment income, rental income, to mention but a few. If you derive any income, then that implies that you should register that business with Uganda Revenue Authority, implying that you should get a tin. Our tins are supplied for free. They are free of charge. That is when you register for taxes, implying that you have entered into the bracket of anybody who will be paying taxes moving forward. But as we register you, we have rights and obligations. The right is what we expect Uganda Revenue Authority to do for you in the journey that you're moving registration and tax collection with us. An obligation is what we expect from you, and one of them could be the return filing the farmer talked about. Because when you do not file, we can't hear from you, we don't know. So in order for us not to give you the default assessment, please paint that picture. Give us that new return. It is not that every return that comes through should be a payment return. It could be a nil return if it's VAT. It could be an offset. It could be a payment return. Or it could even translate to a cash refund, where we refund you the. A return is painting a picture. What has happened at your end? What has happened in form of sales and maybe purchases and business expenses? That is all we need from you. Once we get it, that's the position we keep. But when you keep quiet, we may think for you. And if we think for you, automatically it has to be a payment. So we urge those who haven't been filing on time to please do that. And for the reminders we send, I will probably give you this disclaimer. Some of these reminders are robotic, they are system generated. And at the end we say, if you have done this, please ignore. So in the event that we are reminding you to file, and you have done it, please ignore. And maybe on credit notes, once again, when we designed this system, electronic fiscal receipting and invoicing solution, it is electronic because you're going to use an electronic gadget. It is fiscal because it has a fiscal memory. You will be receipting in the event that you're not VAT registered. You will be invoicing in the event that you're VAT registered. It is a solution that came to make business simpler. So in the event that you are using it, and you're one of the clients that are gazetted, implying that you are VAT registered client, those are the gazetted clients we expect to be on this register. However, if you're not VAT registered and you feel that you need to get on the register, it is well, you can register, but what you'll be issuing will be an e-receipt, not an e-invoice. The difference between the two is an e-invoice has a VAT component, whereas an e-receipt does not have a VAT component. We do not want you to collect VAT when you're not registered for it, because the mechanism of bringing it back to URA will be through your monthly return. And in the event that that window is not open for you, then we don't want you to collect it. So that's the difference in between the two. So in the event that you raise an invoice and you feel it has an error that needs to be corrected, implying that the invoice values will go low, that implies that you will need to initiate a credit note. But if you initiate this credit note to somebody who is in business, we put a control. The other party should consent as to why the invoice is going low. Because when the invoice goes low, it implies that the tax we are going to receive will be reduced. So it's a control in our system. That means the same way that you sat and agreed to do business, it is in the same way and spirit you should communicate to your partner, the other end, to approve it. And once it stays in the system, not attended to, we give it a week. The system auto-rejects it out. So if it auto-rejects it out, then that means you need to sit back and agree with the other party then you initiate a second one, then you can be able to get the approval from the other side. The reason why one to a final consumer does not require approval. Just imagine you've gone in a supermarket. You're a final consumer. You're buying bread and milk for your family. Then they tell you, please approve this credit note. Do you see it as being practical? Automatically, it's not. So that is why we designed the system that way. That when you initiate a credit note on a transaction that went to a final consumer implies that that is the last person in the business process on that item. The transaction is stopping there. So we do not need any approval because that person is not going to file. He's going to consume the item. The reason why we need an approval at the other end is we need you both parties to be in tandem with what you're going to file. Just imagine a situation when Hafsa raises an invoice to Lillian and raises a credit note to Lillian. Lillian is not approving the credit note. Hafsa needs to file for that man. In Hafsa's spirit, she will imagine she needs to file by the credit note, whereas Lillian hasn't attended to. I think you see the two will be confusing. So that is why we want approval on the other side, so that you both file for that transaction via the amounts on the credit note, because they are making the invoice go low in values, maybe because of an error that you did not intend to do. So that is where I wanted to probably clarify on credit notes. And yes, you mentioned the system is costly. Yes, we are well aware. That is why we gave you time from the 1st of July 2020. When we rolled out, we had you out. We had your pains and challenges. We gave you 6 months to ensure that you choose among the 4 channels. What can you use? Are you going in for a system to system? Will you use the portal? Are you going to use the USSD code? Are you going to use a client's app? So we gave you all the options, what it entails to use each of them. So the choice was yours, or the choice is still yours. But it's never too late. In the event that you need a training, we could come back once again and reinforce Arua to see that we can carry out a hands-on so that we can all understand the system we are using. So once you select a particular system, it will require that. For a USSD code, you will not need internet. We basically designed it for the small phones that are community, so that you can help yourself when you're doing root cells. That is the reason why we came up with that. System to system is very clear. We designed it for the big entities that probably had an existing ERP. That's an enterprise resource program. So that you can just do an integration of your existing system onto ours. And we went ahead to license or to accredit system integrators for you. They are on the portal. When you go on our portal page, the home page, that is on www.ura.go.ug. As you just open that page, you don't need to go to your account. Just look on the screen on the right-hand side. We have a list of agents that we accredit. Once you click there, you'll get a list of accredited customs agents, a list of tax agents for domestic taxes, a list of withholding tax agents, and a list of accredited system integrators for EFRIS. So the choice is yours to choose whom you want whom you need to work with moving forward. Definitely there is a cost element that comes in, but at the end of the day, when you're filing your income tax final return, it will be an allowable deduction in income tax to help you reduce on your chargeable income at the end of it all. There's a gentleman who mentioned at configuration, we do not give you alert if you configure an item twice. Yes, if you need alerts, we can create the alert system and notification. But however, we have general notifications under messages. When you look on your page, up there we have the messages on the EFRIS page, where we are giving you a message upon what you have transacted. However, in the same breath, the reason why we made it a little flexible configuration, are you aware you can configure an item twice? Reason why you can configure it twice, it could have different prices. A price when somebody is a retailer and a price when somebody is a wholesaler. That's the reason we did that, to create flexibility. Because when you're configuring, you are not going to sit in your business 24/7. You are leaving there people who work for you or who work with you. That means if it's a retailer, we have a certain price we offer. If it's a wholesaler, it goes to another price. So in that same breath, that is why it was designed like that. But you can still make a small clarification or an adjustment to give you a notification that will ask you that please be mindful that this item still or is already in the system. Do you want to add? Yes, you can say yes or no. We feel that can be doable. We will still do it. There is a lady from an NGO, and she was asking if I got her well, they pay withholding and they pay as you earn. Their suppliers are registered for VAT. Are they eligible for withholding tax? If your suppliers are supplying you an item or services and the aggregate amount of that transaction exceeds 1 million, you need to withhold at 6%. Even though you have broken down the supply in maybe 3 rounds, but the aggregate of that transaction will exceed, you need to withhold, my dear. If you don't withhold, we will make an assumption that you withheld, and we will expect you to file a return and reflect it there and pay the resultant tax. Let me hope I am clear on that. Withholding tax will not appear in EFRIS. Reason being, when one is supplying you, they are raising an invoice to you at 100%. The 6% mechanism comes in the payment arrangement. That is why it does not appear under EFRIS, because they have to invoice you at 100% as per the arrangement. Then you will pay them at 94%. That comes under payment, which is not exactly in the EFRIS bit, because this is basically receipting and invoicing, not paying. Definitely, pay as you earn. I think we are aware in the event that you employ persons and you pay them in excess of 235, which is the threshold, you will need to withhold at the stage before you disburse the salaries. One says on EFRIS, the rollout was too short. I think there is no longer time than when you accept and appreciate, you need to get on the platform. When we rolled out on the 1st of July, you equally told us it's too short. We gave you 3 months. You told us it's too short. We gave you 6 months. You told us it's too short. When we leave you too long, I think it is just appreciating that we need to jump on board. Let us look at the benefits of this system. And more so if you're a business owner, the benefits are definitely many to you. You can monitor your stock when you're not at your business places. You can move stock when you're not there. You can look at the different reports and look at the performance in terms of revenue to your business. You do not need to walk or move at any business outlet. You just do it at the convenience of your home. So when we look at the benefits, I feel we would have got on the system as early as yesterday. We will support you as Uganda Revenue Authority to keep training you as we move on, to keep nurturing you, because that is one of our duties. We need to move with you so that we can grow you and you can bring more taxes to the government. We will handhold you because that is one of our promises. We need to handhold you in the different taxes so that you can be at it at the end of it all. The system does not provide for backdating. It is still a control. Why do you need to backdate? The backdating option was given to a few sectors. Let me give you an example. We are looking at utilities. We give the backdating option to electricity, that's umeme, not here. We need to invoice by the 30th. Yet you're the same person who needs the water or the electricity up to the 30th. Then will they be able to invoice for the whole country within maybe after 5 and before midnight of the 30th day? It may not be practical. That is why we give them a backdating window in the first 5 days of the following month for them to wrap up whatever happened in the previous month and issue out these invoices. And maybe the other sector could be the telecom companies. We give them that provision, the media companies. Just imagine today is the 30th day, and our colleagues in the media houses are here. They are going to run this particular event, maybe up to 5 or 6, in the event that it was a full day engagement. By the time they get back to office, it's difficult to invoice. We handle talk shows up to late in the night, about 9 or 10, and the accountant is already gone. When will they issue the invoices? And it's the last day of the month. So we looked at different sectors and looked at the way they operate, the mode of operation. So we gave the backdating option depending on how you operate. If you can, if your finances can, you can enroll on the system to system because it has a provision for batch invoicing. It has a provision for offline mode. When internet is a bit disrupted, you can do the invoicing. When the system goes back to normal, you can just update the system and run through, and it will update your EFRIS page. So I think that is what I got with EFRIS. The system depends a lot on network. Definitely, we should appreciate that. We are going automated. I think we are 90 or 95% automated. Then it calls for internet. We can no longer go back in the manual. We just have to learn to live with it and maybe plan more well so that we can fit it as we develop Uganda together. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I know the questions are still burning. We're going to have the next set of 5 questions, and I'd ask the people to move to the front. Let's have other people come and sit at the front. There are seats here for you. Then a reminder, a lot was spoken. So let's tackle questions from all those areas that were talked about. Not only EFRIS, there are others that could be pending.
Can I go? Thank you very much. The fraternity of URA that has organized this engagement, the top leaders of university, distinguished stakeholders, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Malone Avitia. I am the division mayor of Waivu Division, the division that is carved out of the former 7 sub-counties of Waivu County. The information of our staff of URA, the former Arua municipality now forms what is called the Central Division and is headquartered at of formation of the city and administrative units. I want to thank URA in a special way. The chairman of business will concur with me. We had an engagement here earlier this year. The relationship between URA staff and that of the public had gone so bad. I think URA took it upon themselves to transfer certain members of their staff, and these were replaced by new people. I want to report that over the last few months, I think we are making improvements in as far as the relationship with the public is concerned. But we still have some few challenges here and there. I want to ask that the relationship, the public relations department of URA has a lot in their docket in as far as improving the relationship is concerned. This tackles everything. If your staff goes out to taxpayers, how would they engage taxpayers? How would they communicate? The language they use, I think also matters a lot. We needed to take note that naturally human beings don't want to pay tax. Naturally, since creation. And I imagine that some of us who are employed under government, including staff of URA, if your salaries were first paid to you, and then later you go and remit the tax, you know how difficult it would be. And that is exactly how it is. So as we are integrating systems of technology advancement in the country, I want to appeal that let's take note of people who never went to school. It should be well noted in this engagement that for you to start business, you don't need to qualify in any institution. There are people who never went to school, but their businesses are prospering and they need to pay us tax. So accordingly, I want to appeal that within the city here, get time, despite the presence of COVID pandemic and so on, liaise with some of us, the local leaders, because in the fast growing trading centers, we have the trading center committee. They're a full-fledged committee of about 9 or 11 people. We have the business committee who are directly under the chairman of business, but they are sitting in those small trading centers. I think through those people, we can carry better tax education, because in our engagement here, we may only be engaging ourselves at top level. That is my first appeal. My second appeal is on behalf of the young people. Particularly, I want to address myself to the bodaboda industry. I came to this meeting with the chairman, Arua City Bodaboda. May you stand up for recognition? I came to this meeting with the chairman of Bodaboda Association. You are aware in this country, the population of the young people is almost twice the population of the older ones. Therefore, the unemployment rate in this country continues to be very big. As a result, a lot of young people have ventured into bodaboda industry. So I want to appeal to URA, if you could design a mechanism of having motorcycle registration by installment, particularly to these bodabodas, will be a pleasure to us. Some of these gentlemen and ladies, by the way, in Arua here, we have bodabodas who are ladies as well. We have 2 of them. We want to congratulate women for competing with us. I think this is the way to go. So particularly, I wanted us to design a mechanism. It may not only apply now to for the purpose of Arua City, but you could do this countrywide, because a lot of them have gone to school, they have not been employed, but instead of engaging in dubious other things, they have said, no, we want to be in the bodaboda industry. I think let's do something for them. Secondly, we are losing revenue in the hands of security people. I want to report in this meeting. Particularly, I will address myself to Lokra Godo or Damachaku Road. I will address myself from Ndoparaka. Because of COVID pandemic, Mamara Sisi, we could not enforce SOPs without the security. But some of the staff of the security, particularly members of Uganda People's Defense Force, are extorting the public like nothing. And when you ask them, they say they have been assigned to do work by URA. But you will never see URA staff in uniform with these people. Now, those small monies they collect, where do they take them? I think in the next engagement, you'll also see receipts where those people collect money and they're able to remit. Apart from being the mayor, I am the chairman security of that division. And my division forms 90% of the city population and land size. So the public is now saying, their target is not only now the smugglers. Anybody who buys something from town is going to Odramatsaku, or you buy something from Odramatsaku, you're going to any of the small trading centers, they stop you and they get some money from you. I think Mamara CC last take interest in that. It is becoming political mistake, political for all levels of politics. So we don't want to die with some other person's mistake. As I conclude, I want to appeal to Ugandans, including myself. The Uganda Revenue Authority is like an umbilical cord that feeds the fetus. You not have roads, you not have electricity, you not have water, you not have health facilities, you not have salaries paid, you not have anything if we do not come. I want to pledge our commitment as leaders of the city that we will be helping one another as you also help us. And as I conclude, I wanted you to organize these meetings and really look at the Uganda Revenue Authority. Sometimes you lose financial timber, design T-shirts for stakeholders, even threaten to give transport refund and so on, so that you look at Uganda Revenue Authority. Physically, the staff are more healthy than anybody here. I thank you.
You're welcome. Next question. If we have any questions, please let's move to the front, because we are behind time.
Thank you so much. My name is Edrico Moses, Secretary of Finance, Planning and Administration, Arua City, representing the Mayor Arua City. I want to thank EFRIS for this initiative. And I have one big question here about the representative of people. See Leah charging different rates for TRL. There are those who are paying 350. There are those who are paying 330. There are those who are paying 300. So can you clarify on that so that we take... Much as we talk of this smuggling, I want to also report here that some of the EFRIS staffs are on the payroll of these smugglers. They are the promoters. You arrest a motorcycle, and at the end of it, you say, bring 200, bring 300, and you give back. There are those who are even engaging these smugglers that were on the road this side, move that side. So in this case, who is promoting the smuggling? Is it the community or it is the EFRIS staffs? So that deployment in the evening is done by Leah. Actually, I've been the chairman 3 evening. I requested for that deployment myself. It was there for the sub-county, for the purpose of security for that particular place. I had a meeting with those people, and I told them, I don't want to see soldiers on the road when there's no EFRIS staff. In case of any problem, who will defend the soldiers? So, if the EFRIS is willing to work with those soldiers, let us work as a team. Let there be EFRIS staff on board with the soldiers. I have so many complaints. I even have a recorded one. They got 3 motorcycles, numberless, and they started the negotiation with the owners. They started at 150. It came to 100, and at the end of it, they paid 50 per motorcycle. I don't know whether you received that money or not. So I see officers in Leah, not in the field, but they like enjoying the offices. So let us be more in field than sitting in the offices. Thank you so much. I rest my case.
Any more questions? Bwana Honorable, I'll give you time. I'll not give you time. Okay, Bwana Honorable has another meeting. Let's give him his floor and he takes us through. Approach the podium.
Thank you very much, officers from URA, the top institutional leaders, business community, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Atima Jackson Lee Buti, Member of Parliament representing Central Division, Arua City. Hotelian in Arua City. In Parliament, I am in the Committee of Finance Planning and Economic Development. I am also in the Committee of PAC, National Government. I want to take this opportunity to welcome the URA team to West Nile region and Arua City and Central Division where we are. I want to thank you again for initiating this engagement. I apologize for arriving late. I just arrived in Arua this morning. I left communicating with the RCC about the visit of Minister of Energy. This coming Wednesday, the RCC told me that there's engagement with the URA here. I quickly refreshed and had to be here. I want to thank the business community and the institutional leaders for giving your time to interface with the URA. As the division mayor of IVE, to me, I am expressing my disappointment because the concerns we raised to those officers shouldn't have resulted into transfers of the top leadership of URA. Even my colleague, the chairman business community, said it in that meeting, that we do not want to lose you on transfers. Stay here so that we work together. Because you need a new team anywhere. We welcome the new team to work with. Before I put my points across, I want to make correction. Is our city town clerk around? Where is he? He has gone. Division Mayor Aivu, the Central Division headquarters remains at Arua Hill, the former Arua Hill Division. That's where the town clerk sits, not Uli. Has moved down. RCC, is that confirmed? I'm yet learning it now, but you know, for address purposes, that is what I was aware of. If there are changes within this 1 week when I was away, I will clarify that. Moving forward, team from URA, as I apologized, I arrived late. I do not know the level of engagement you had with the community here. But as a representative of the people of Central Division, and also, for your information, I am the regional whip, NRM regional whip for West Nile. I report to government chief whip of this country. So it will be important for me to understand and know the challenges URA is facing in the region and the challenges business community is facing in the region. As a committee of finance, planning and economic development, some of these will be addressed in our meetings because as a committee we summon the Ministry of Finance. However, I will interact with you and some of my people to get some of those points. But while here, URA, as the division mayor said, is doing a lot for this country. And all the achievements that we have in this country comes out of the taxes the people of this country pay. And these taxes are collected by URA, which is enhancing development in this country. But however, as the representative of the people here, the team of URA, I want to put this to your attention. When we had engagements with your officials here, we agreed that to have proper tax collection, we need to enhance, expand the tax base. We have realized that URA does not consider increasing or expanding the tax base, making the tax burden to sit on very few individuals or business community. And yet, we give you targets. As Parliament, as Minister of Finance, we give you targets as URA to collect taxes. So because now you have not expanded the tax base, you now want to oppress the few. And the people are now not happy with that. That makes a sour relationship. But if the tax base was wide and the burden is shared among many, people will pay small taxes. Then nobody will really, evade or even avoid paying taxes. So still, I want to add my voice that with the help of the community and the leaders around, expand the tax. Electronic filing. As the mayor said, and I know as other people said, most of our business communities are not educated. Many businessmen and women, any person can be an entrepreneur. So much as they have the obligation and responsibility of recruiting or employing educated people to do for them filing and the rest, I want URA to take this concern serious. This e-learning, people need to be educated so that we do not miss receiving taxes from the various businesses. And also, paying taxes doesn't look like punishment for the business community. E-filing should be handled seriously. 3, I want to talk about the relationship between URA officers and the business community and the institution leaders. I've been away for 1 week. I was told that there was an issue of brutality between URA officers and some business community in Arua district. At GS side, I don't know if that's true. I'm yet to confirm. Which was on radio, which was on news. Yet we always say engagement between URA and business community is the way to go than brutalizing the business community. 2, just this morning, I got a call from somebody from Kebiri Cell that a boy was carrying wheat flour, just a packet. And URA officials interfaced with this guy. As the guy was coming from town with this packet of police, Madam RCC, interest yourself with that. I'm also going to interest myself with that. Not everything people carry on their motorcycles is a smuggled good. And in our engagements, we told you there's need to self. What are you carrying? Do you have receipt for this? Unless this guy fails to prove. But again, if he's a smuggler, there's a way of handling than brutalizing such a person. 4, high taxes. This has connection with the narrow tax base I talked about in my first point. This narrow tax base makes you now to overcharge Ugandans. And this cry is across the country. We share with our colleagues in other parts of this country. High taxes. That's why you find to South Sudan and then bring it back. You need to revisit your charges. I'm very, very interested. We are going to engage with you. We are going to engage with Minister of Finance at that level to revise the taxes, especially tax on motorcycle number plates. That is exorbitant. You cannot pay 1 million or 1,500,000 for a number plate of a motorcycle. You now find because of these high taxes, people choose not to put number plates. We are not encouraging people not to use number plates as leaders. We want everybody. This region has been hit by wars. We are coming up. So something special should be done about high taxes, especially the number plates for border motorcycles. I want to still emphasize on the tax relationship. Officers from the region and center, you need to do something about your junior staff. We are local leaders here. We get complaints. The issue the division mayor raised here, which other members must have raised, is happening. Motorcycles which have no number plates are arrested. As these are arrested, the enforcers give their phone contacts to these people that you call me before I reach office. As they drive 1 kilometer from wherever this motorcycle is picked, or few meters away, and they are called, these officers ask for 200,000, 300,000 and give back this motorcycle to the riders. Now you find one border in a month, if he chances to land on URA enforcers, can lose 1.5 million in a month. Because every time a motorcycle is arrested, instead of the officer saying, go and mobilize money, I give you chance, come. This brings the issue of paying or registering these number plates in installment, which we have been raising here to URA. If you gave these borders opportunity to pay for this number plate in installment, somebody gets 200, he registers there, you give him a receipt. He gets 500, he takes there. That will help. But the officers here are now using this as an opportunity to enrich themselves. Just 2 weeks ago, a guy's motorcycle was taken. He was asked to pay 300,000. This guy happens to be a border. That's why he gave me the number of the new one. I don't know among you whether he's around. By the way, I harassed you so badly because I was, the guy even said, Jackson, Honorable, do you have a personal problem with me? I said, I don't have a personal problem with you. I even don't know you. Why would I have a personal problem with you? I am reacting like this because of repeated concerns that my people are raising to me. Supermarket in Arua here. That was the most popular supermarket. Those guys closed. Do we have Winner Classic supermarket here? They told me we should help them, government should bail them out. During the lockdown, items expired. So URA engagement, I asked URA, what do you do to your business community that are falling off businesses? I mentioned so many businesses that have collapsed in Arua here that you used to draw a lot of money from. What have you done as URA, as Minister of Finance? If we continue to kill the existing businesses, where are we going to get the taxes that we use to run this country? We need to make follow-ups to the businesses that are doing badly. We need to revive them. If you don't water your crop, if you don't weed, do you think you will get any yield? The yield is these guys, you need to weed them, you need to water them. One of the ways is tax education. The other way is having fair assessment. I have come with a document here. Members, I was bailed by URA. My little hotel up there was bailed 20 million during the lockdown when there was no business. And even when there was no business, I was filing the little that I was making from drinks. If you go to my records, I was filing monthly returns. When I got this, they want to intimidate you, and this is what they always do. When they bill you like this, because of the ignorance people have now, you will quake. They will say, what do you have? Come, we talk. They have given you 20 million. If I was not an enlightened person, I would say, what do we do? Come, we talk. Instead of paying 20 million, let me pay 5. I will give you 2 million. You take 5 for government. Without any calculation, without knowing whether I am right or wrong. This is what URA does to our business community here. Playing with the ignorance of the business community. Today, business community, I want to say, employ accountants. Use tax tribunal. We have tax tribunal here in Arua. Their offices were in cafeteria. I don't know if they have relocated. If they have not relocated, get to them. They will help you to defend you from URA. They will analyze your books and tell URA you don't have anything here. This is the extortion I'm talking about. I was with my accountant. So this must stop. Now, madam, I want you to know when they do search, you now come to them. By the way, this has not even gone in the system. They have just written this letter. My accountant checked my system. It's not there. They have written this letter. If I had not gotten a chance to get it, my manager will be quaking and say, okay, let's go and pay something so that they don't come and close us. That's the intimidation you guys do here. That must stop. I have told you, I'm a member of committee, finance, planning, and economic development. You are under me. Number 2, I am a member of PAC. Whatever you do, I will come and audit you. So do the right thing. Lastly, I want you to take this as way forward. As a regional whip for West Nile, I want us to have an engagement between all members of parliament from this region and the URA. I know if my colleagues were here, they would have brought issues that are affecting their districts and constituencies. Koboko has issues, Nebi has issues, Zombo has issues. I want an engagement between URA and members of parliament from this region. 2, the second way forward I was putting is about the tax tribunal helping you out. Take that up seriously. Number 3.
Southern Sudan. And currently they pay for 90 days. That is $60. You pay once for 90 days. And after it has expired, you must go and exit. If you want to renew, you come back. So the calculation of road user is based on distance. The one for temporary road license is a constant $60. Whether you want to go to Arua or to Busia, it doesn't matter on distance, but it's for foreign registered vehicles. And the owner is the one who is allowed to come to the country with his car, or someone has authorized to do so. There must be an authority if you're not the original owner of the car, but you're driving it, so that our border officials can be able to clear you. The issue of TRA in Lia, the chairman of the business community ever called me about it, but when we interrogated it with him, we actually found out there are some brokers around our office. They're the ones who intercept the client and tell him release is 300,000, actually TRA, when it is around 230. So it's not the hard work of our officials. It is the work of some people around the URA who take advantage of the client and take the difference, if I should say. Otherwise, our system is tailor-made to give that much, because the exchange rates change, but the dollars don't change. That's the dollars remain for the 90 days. I hope I'm clear on that.
Go ahead about the issue of UPDF. Who are these guys in us URA enforcement staff?
I want to thank the mayor of Ayugut. So it has always been hard to separate who is for us, works for us, and works for the ministry UPDF. But it's a point of fact that some soldiers on that road from Riyadh to Arua intercept people and extort money from them. But they are not URA soldiers, mayor, and they don't work on our behalf. and URA no longer collects cash money, they generate an MPF fund for paying the bank. If there must be a payment for URA, it's not a cash receipt. So please tell our people to desist from giving people money, and should people demand for it, they should report to the police, the RCC, to ask anybody they can report, even to the mayor. We don't condone corruption tendencies, but those are not people under me. But I know we have the leadership here, and even you can intervene and take up that issue.
Thank you very much. Ms. Seguia, there's an issue of installation payments. The community needs to be enlightened about installation payments.
Thank you very much. I think what they meant is installation payment when they are registering the units, for which it's available, but definitely we sit and agree and craft an MOU to how you're going to make good the balance of the payment of registration. But it's available to all our clients who would need to register a motor vehicle, motorcycle, anything movable on the road. That is there.
Thank you.
Maybe to add on that, the issue of installment payments is a preserve of the commissioner, customs. So whoever wants to pay installments must write asking for that. And it's not a guarantee that when you write, you grant it. It depends on the circumstances, the considerations at hand. Thank you.
Back to you, Madam Seguia. When you listen to the Honorable MP, his point was businessmen open businesses and after some time they close. So they're asking, what is URA doing to follow up with such clients who actually close and run out of business? Because we're in a relationship with the clients, and it's a give and take. As they are paying, we have to keep on checking them. So what are we doing to ensure even those who have closed come back in business, or what plans does URA have?
Thank you very much. Definitely we would like to thank the Honorable Member of Parliament for the issues he has raised, because without certain issues, at times we may not know where we need to put a lot of effort, where we need to turn. They don't open business. If they don't open shop, then ultimately the objective of the institution may not be met, because our mission is basically to mobilize revenue in an efficient and transparent manner. But how will we mobilize? That is where I go back to the drawing board. As we register you, we onboard you. That is part of what we do. Onboarding implies that we take you through the journey. What are your expectations? What are your rights? What are you supposed to do? How and when? So with your cooperation, I think moving forward, we'll put a lot of energy onto that. With the interruptions in COVID, that is where we brought changes in the mode of how we execute, because we're doing more of the virtual engagements. But I think with if COVID ceases, then we'll be able to meet you once again in our normal engagements where we nurture you. So when we call upon you, please come or send representatives. That will help you further your business. Definitely, there is always a beginning. We are here to help you. We are in this together because we need to see that we collect these taxes, and we need to see that your businesses have to be there for as long as you are in the business itself. It has to keep moving so that you can be able to save, you can be able to get a profit, and the profit you give back to government in terms of taxes. So please, you will be our advocates out there. Once we call for onboarding sessions, please send us the people, the tax agents, representative. You have clients you handhold there. Please send them to us so that we can handhold. Because we also do the handholding in the filing bit. Once we do your record keeping well, we handhold you to see that that return comes in and comes in on time. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, finally, Lillian, the MP talked about tax-based expansion. What plans do you have as a Arua team to expand the tax base to avoid dependence on the few who exist in the tax register?
Thank you, Douglas. As far as tax register expansion is concerned, we have a program in place. As the MP said, we have a target which is given to us, not just as a station. Most activities have been affected because of the pandemic. But we do have clients who voluntarily come to register their businesses. And that is how it is supposed to happen. As a client, you know that you've started a business. You need to inform before we go to you. You voluntarily come and report yourself that you're in business, you are in operations. We take you through the registration process. As Afsa said, we onboard you. We take you through your rights and your obligations. But by the time we go out to look for someone who is eligible to be registered for taxes, it means you have not done your part as a voluntary taxpayer. We have plans in place. We are doing the register expansion, but you also know, as he said, businesses come and they die. We do take stock of our business that we register. We weed out those taxpayers who are not dormant. Through our mobile field activities, we're able to establish that taxpayer ABCD is no longer in existence. We take initiatives to understand why it's out of operation with all the required documents and processes. We remove them from the system depending on the information we get from them. That is the process and the cycle of register expansion. Doesn't mean that we are not doing register expansion. We are doing it. That's why we have new clients who come in, and the old ones who are no longer in operation, they go out. Even some of the business people, they keep coming with new companies, especially the ones who register companies. You'll find that an individual has like 3-4 companies. If one has failed in business, registers a new one, comes, and we onboard them. The register expansion activities are in plan.
In the event that you do not have income, the self-assessment regime is available. Reflect however little or however much has come out of your business. That is what we take. Unless when we get additional information that there is an under declaration, that is when we can come back to you and put it to your attention and probably raise an additional assessment in respect of what you did declare. So basically that's the way we do business. But we'll be very glad to keep listening from you, harnessing this relationship as we move together as our clients in Arua, Koboko, and the neighboring districts to see that we can be better in our game. The businesses can thrive, and secondly, we can equally give back to government in form of taxes. Let us, all of us, take our fair share. That is when we'll support government to be able to avail the services of the business. Thank you very much. My country.
Thank you. Back to you. We are closing, and I want my panelists to give you closing remarks, and I'll start with you, Ms. Seguya, in 2 minutes.
I would like to thank our clients for cooperating with us, for paying taxes, for allowing to move this journey with us. We know we have challenges in our businesses. We've had COVID. We are still moving on with challenges, but we'd like to appreciate you. For that, give us in form of taxes. We do not take it for granted. We know there is a lot that goes on. This is a discipline that one has to put in themselves to be able to support government, to be able to support Uganda Revenue Authority. Thank you very much for working with us.
Thank you very much. Lillian, 2 minutes.
I would not want to go off the theme of today's engagement. That's the benefits of EFRIS. I want to encourage all the registered VAT taxpayers to embrace the initiative. It is not just benefiting us as the collection body, it as well benefits them. I encourage them to comply with the EFRIS requirements. Something we did not talk about, we are sticking to the benefits, but something we did not talk about was failure to use EFRIS has its own costs in terms of penalties. Let's not find ourselves being penalized for non-compliance to such initiatives. Let them embrace it. It has come to stay. It's one of the restrictions to increase its collections, and we get off the burden of external borrowings and all that. Thank you for God and my country.
You're welcome. Bwana Alex.
Thank you, Douglas. For me, mine is an appeal that we should encourage our boys who are selling illegal fuel in town to try and get some other things to do, because we don't like the running battles, and one of these days, one of the houses could get burnt because of that fuel. Then secondly, is when we had a promotion, people failed to come, now we have closed it. We are going to begin running after them, and they will say URA is bad. Before I forget, nobody, and I repeat, nobody should ever give money to anybody to release a motorcycle. That is extortion. We don't condone it. And we encourage the other people also not to tempt our people. Because if you know you have a motorcycle which is not registered, why are you trying to bribe our people? You follow the motorcycle and do the right thing and get registration. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Then I cross over to the other side. Miss Alice, your concluding remarks. I'll add you 1 extra minute.
Appreciate you, team from URA, for this engagement, which I think has gone very well. We should encourage this. I want to appreciate the political and technical leaders that have attended this meeting. Today is a Saturday, you'd be doing your own things, but thank you for coming for this meeting. I want to thank the chairperson of the business community and your team for coming to attend this very important engagement. I want to request you to always attend our security meeting so that we walk the same path. I want to encourage teamwork in everything we do. We should not be pointing fingers. A lot of challenges have been raised here, but these challenges will help us to improve in our work as a team. And I also want to encourage the URA team that are in the field. Normally use reasonable force when you have got these culprits. They are human beings. We need them. And I would also ask parents of children who are using border, who are engaged in smuggling. When you are arrested, don't run away. Saying sorry is the best thing in life. Come forward and say, I am sorry I've done this because of reason ABC. These people are not your enemies. URA is not your enemy. They are just doing their work also. So cooperate with them so that we work as a team. To URA, I've seen the core values is patriotism, integrity, and professionalism. Let us enforce these 3 core values and we shall make it. I have seen their 30 years of developing Uganda together. I want to appreciate URA for the good work you've done these 30 years. Before URA came into existence, it was the Ministry of Finance collecting taxes. it was a big mess. I was already in the system. I think I'm the oldest person in this gathering. I remember the first Commissioner General of URA, he was, I think, called Labios Siao. We worked with him very closely. And I want to tell you that I trained a number of revenue officers who were recruited from Makerere then. We were doing sales tax and excise duty, some of those things. But we've upgraded, and I think the coming of URA into existence has improved a number of things in this country via tax collection. I want to appreciate you for the good work you've done to improve the collection of taxes in this country. I really don't have much to say. As a new person in the city, I want us to work as a team. I want us to share information every time. For me, my phone is open 24/7. If there is anything, even if it is 3 a.m., call, I will be able to answer your call so that we work together and carve out these problems that are in the city. I want to thank all of you. May God bless all of us. I say all this for God and my country.
Our taxpayers, our RCC is not only an RCC, but also a tax expert. Please, once in a while you can check on Anshu, what Anshu guide you. Bwana George, the ball is in your court. Your final remarks in regard to the challenges about it and how you can cope. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Douglas. I want to move a vote of thanks to the organizers of this tax baraza. And I want to encourage and impress the taxpayers, please. Let us use this EFRIS system. It will solve our problem of record keeping. Thanks.
Welcome. Oh, Bwana Chairman.
Thank you, moderator. You now have to be SOP compliant. I want to appreciate this day and thank, first of all, the participants who were invited and who attended. I'm very grateful. This proves our worth and our commitment in mobilizing and payment of taxes. If there were any reservations that we are not compliant, I think your presence is a proof. I want to appreciate that. I want to appreciate URA for the continuous engagement. This is one of the requests we had made earlier, that do whatever it takes. Even if they say 10 people, get them aboard, let's continue. We are grateful this is continuing. We believe and trust that whatsoever was said here was in good faith and for the betterment of revenue mobilization in this nation. And we trust all is getting better every other day. Where we are coming from wasn't like this. For those of you who have been present, there's been fire. But to where we are today, I think it is getting easier. If all of us came here on time, I want to appreciate that this was one of the best barazas we have had. And it's going to yield a lot of benefit on some of those gaps that we had here. You forget. I one time told you we were senior, but we are nowhere. We have decided to say, let it go. So for that case there, even those petty ones there, they are soon going, not far from now. Let us continue engaging, all for the betterment of this country. For God and my country, I say this.
Thank you, Chairman. Then let's take it to Assistant Carl. Give us your final remarks.
In a special way, I want to appreciate the initiative of URA to have organized this baraza. Equally, I appreciate all stakeholders who have come for the baraza, And I think what we need to do is to walk our talk such that we improve on tax collection. I say this for God and my country.
Something. Please pass the microphone to General Bitogama.
Thank you very much. My name is Obitra Gama. I'm 81 years old now. I think the RCC was saying was the oldest. I was keeping quiet. I said there was somebody older than herself here. Thank you. I'm really very, very thankful to URA. For your information, I've been paying tax for the last 60 years. As of now, I think my records are with you. I'm still paying property tax with you. I think last year you gave me a certificate for being a very good taxpayer. I think I will continue to pay your tax as long as I live, or as long as I receive some funds. I don't want to waste your time. I thank you very, very much to educating me about this new tax system. But as usual, I tell my children I was not too old to get in this new system. I use them, I tell them to do the work for me, and I will comply as they tell me, because they are just...
Before I call the regional manager to give us the final remarks, I want to conclude by telling you that URA and our taxpayers, we are in a relationship. The moment you sign and you get that tin, the relationship has started. But as Madam Seguya told us that you have rights and obligations. It is a give and take. If you don't tell the taxman that I've not sold for 3 months, how do you expect them to know? Come to us. The doors are always open. We're in this relationship, and if we work together, 30 years, we'll go to 60, to 80, to 100, we'll all help Uganda. Those are my closing remarks. May I invite Madam Manager to give us her remarks?
Thank you so much. I take this opportunity to appreciate the MP who has been here, RCC, the Assistant COW, other political leaders, the business community leader, tax agent representative, our taxpayers. Thank you so much for turning up. I also want to thank all the panelists who have been here, the moderator, URA, and those that are not URA. Thank you so much. I have been around, I have had all the concerns, and I assure you, our relationship is going to be better and better. We are going to have more and more engagements. I have been in touch with my colleague, the manager customs, and we already have an appointment with the MP. So that is where we are starting from. So I'm assuring you, this is going to be better and better. As regards to EFRIS, I remind you, please use it. It is going to help us. Come 1st November, we're going to start rejecting the manual invoices. So please, I encourage you, please come, we work together. Thank you very much. I want to thank the URA staff who have made sure that this event is successful. Those from Arua, thank you so much. And those from Kampala, both DT and Customs, thank you so much. Members, I appreciate you. And now I close this Baraza officially. Thank you so much. To the press people, I thank you. May the good Lord bless you. As we develop, as I close off, I want to appreciate our panelists. Just in 1 minute, let me appreciate the panelists before they leave. It's just a small token of appreciation. Our colleagues that put this up, please come near. Okay, I'll start with Madam RCC, Madam Alice. Okay.
The assistant cow. The chairman, business community. The tax agent representative. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, our taxpayers. Thank you for coming. I'll leave behind a few cards in case you have any challenges. I sit in Gulu, but I am just a call away. We pledge our full support to you and to the entire nation as we build Uganda together. Thank you.
Thank you, Manager. The call has been made to all of us. Please, in case of anything, feel free to contact the manager. Feel free to contact the Arua team. Be mindful that we have lunch and the coupons are at the registration table. So as we officially close this session, I would call on everyone, we stand up and they play the national anthems.
Mungu twaomba ulinde Jumuiya Afrika Mashariki, tuwezeshe kuishi kwa amani, tutimize na malengo yetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tulilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Uzalendo pia mshikamano iwe msingi wa umoja wetu, na tulinde uhuru na amani, mila zetu na desturi zetu. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuajibike, tuimarike. Umoja wetu ni nguzo yetu, idumu jumuiya yetu. Viwandani na hata mashambani, tufanye kazi sote kwa makini, tujitoe kwa hali na mali, tulijenge jumuiya bora. Jumuiya yetu sote tuilinde, tuachie idumu jumuiya yetu.
Thank you very much. Let me ask Lilian to pray for the lunch that we are going to have.
God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. Lord, we want to thank you for the gift of the day. And we want to thank you for all other participants who have come to attend this engagement. The day has ended, but before we leave, you've given us a gift. Bless it before we partake it through Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
The coupons are at the registration table. Feel free to pick and then you go for lunch. Departure is at leisure. Thank you.
That's my little angel.
Nakupenda malaika, oh, malaika,